On October 9th, 1928, William Hartnell performed Miss Elizabeth's Prisoner here at the Royal Theatre in North Bay, Ontario, as part of a tour across Canada. It was on this tour that he fell in love with his soon-to-be wife, Heather McIntyre, a fellow actor in the troupe. This period of his life has long been forgotten, only really coming to light in Jessica Carney's biography of her own grandfather. It was, of course, Hartnell's role in Doctor Who, which really propelled him to worldwide fame. A lot has changed in the 95 years since that performance. In fact, this is no longer a theater, having been completely remodeled and transformed into a mix of residential and commercial property in the 1980s. You may wonder then about the significance of this location. Well, much like this theater, my nomination for most underrated story has been lost to time, and as such, has been completely overlooked. The Savages is the 8th serial in Doctor Who's 3rd season, and was written by veteran pulp writer Ian Stewart Black, who would contribute 2 more times to the show, writing the following story, The War Machines, and the Season 4 story, The Macra Terror. Black, it could be argued, while working in one of the most turbulent periods of the show, wrote some of the most forward-thinking and progressive stories of the time. In many ways, The Savages is the archetypical Doctor Who story, parodied and recreated ad nauseum. The Doctor and co have landed on a rock quarry, and are presented with an idealistic society that turns out to be rotten to the core, exploiting a minority population. The Doctor then opposes the regime on moral grounds and tears down the system, replacing it with one in his own image. Damningly generic, if it weren't for the fact that this story was really the first to do this. Of course, it could be argued that stories like the Daleks or the Sensorites try a similar thing, but I think there's a clear distinction. While the Doctor seemingly completely destroys the titular villains in the Daleks, they're very much presented as a completely unredeemable force. Likewise, in the Sensorites, while the Doctor is successful in stopping one corrupt individual, the caste-like institutions of the Sensphere stay in place. In the Savages, the rulers and the oppressed are fundamentally equal, both physically and mentally, when given the same opportunities. They are the same people, separated by an institutional system of what is clear in the original title of, quote, The White Savages, a race-based oppression. It is probably the most blatantly political story in the 1960s. The irony, of course, in trying to tell this story with actors in blackface was clearly lost on those involved. Interestingly, none of the actors who have their skin darkened try to be any particular race. There are no stereotypes or accents used to denote where these people are from. In fact, it's even hard to tell if they're meant to be humans from Earth, or if they're just falling into that old sci-fi trope of aliens being indistinguishable from actual humans, save for cultural differences. In this respect, it works to make the allegory more applicable to the audience. It could be a reference to India, or Africa, or any other pink-colored spot on the map. It is also the first non-Dalek story to have the Doctor's reputation precede him. The Elders have been watching him the whole time. The Elders, when introducing themselves to the Doctor, believe that he will approve of their achievements, built on the backs of the oppressed. Black, however, solidifies the Doctor's position as the defender of the weak, something that the earlier characterization, and Hartnell's own personal beliefs, at the time contradict. It is as if the Doctor himself is holding up a mirror to the British audience through the screen and telling them that they, for once, are the ones that are in the wrong.